In this video, we are going to discuss different lighting concepts, how many types of lights are available, what kind of colors of lights are available and how to choose them, and what kind of concepts of lighting which can be utilized when you are choosing the lighting, and the real world examples of many photographs of the lights. I'm going to show you many type of different kind of lights which are aesthetically pleasing and also functionally very good. Also, we are going to discuss how a professional like us plan the lighting, how many number of fittings in a room, what is their wattage, etc. in detail. Finally, I am also going to give you a tips and tricks section in the end of the video. So please watch until end of the video. Hello, this is architect Damim Ansari from Ansari Architects. In today's video, we are going to see the lighting systems in a home. Come, let's go into the video. A light in a house can totally transform the house. It can give a totally luxurious and rich feeling to a even normal house. And the lighting has to be designed in such a way that it is aesthetically pleasing and also it is functionally, it suits your requirement of the task, the function it is performing, the space it is placed in. This video discusses in detail about the artificial lighting only. The natural lighting is a big subject that I am planning to cover in another video. The LED lights have become a norm nowadays. Earlier, it used to be incandescent lights and fluorescent lights. The incandescent lights used to waste almost 98% of the energy. That means only 98% got converted into heat energy. Only 2% got converted into light energy. But whereas the LED lights waste only about 10% maximum. 90% is converted into light energy. That is why you get a lot of savings in electricity. Let us discuss about the color of the light, which is also called as the Kelvin rating of the lights. The color of the light ranges between 3000K to 6000K. 3000K being the warm light, which is also called as yellow light. You can also some people call it warm light or warm yellow. The middle is the 4000K, which is also called as the neutral light, or some people call it as off-white color also. Then in the extreme end of this side of the segment, you have 6000K, which is white light, a kind of bluish white color. We are going to discuss about the color of the light in later section of the video in detail. Then next, let us go to the CRA of the lighting. What is CRA? CRA is the color rendering index of the light. CRA has to be, let us not go too much into the details of CRA. Let us just say that the CRA has to be 90 or high. If it is 90 or high, the color rendering capacity of the light will be much better. The colors will look like their natural colors. But most of the companies in India tend to give you 80 and above only. So it is okay to have 80 CRA and above. So let us look for 80 CRA and above. Don't go below 80 CRA. To give one example of how CRA works is, supposing you have chosen a dress in the night in the lighting, and it looks so beautiful, but when the daytime when you see, it may be totally looking different and may not be the same color because the light CRI was less, say it was less than 80, and it was showing you some other color which was pleasing to you, but in the daytime the real color shows. So you may have nasty surprises when you choose a light which is less than the optimum CRI value. Next value is lumens per watt. Ideally, lumens per watt should be 90 and above. But most of the companies nowadays give you 90 and above. But there may be some fittings, some older fittings, which are falling within the range of 70 or even less. I have seen even 50. Let us avoid those kind of lights because the efficiency of the light will be much lesser if you opt for light which is 90 or less lumens per watt. Light fittings companies generally don't show you in the box. If you take the box, all these details will be listed in the box. In the box, if you see, they would have listed the total lumens of the light fitting. You just have to divide the total lumens by the wattage of the light. Then you get the lumens per watt value of the light. Next is what is called the power factor of the light. Power factor of the light ideally should be zero point 0.9 and above. But some of the fittings you may have the power factor listed even zero point 0.5. I have seen fittings which are less than zero point 0.5. Try to choose the light which has zero point 0.9 and above, because this is being a very important factor in the efficiency, in the power efficiency of the light. If you take the light which is, if you choose the lights which are less in efficiency, it is going to increase your power cost. Then is the rating called IP rating. If you are choosing outdoor light, you have to choose IP rating 50 or above. That is a specified thing, because the water will not enter those kind of fittings. The warranty of the light should be at least 2 years and above, ideally. Look for aluminum body with aluminum diffuser. In the backside, if you see, you can easily see whether it's aluminum or not. They would have specified in the box also. The PVC body and PVC diffusers are not preferred, and they are dangerous. Also, there is a possibility of a fire hazard. Now let's go into the more interesting part, that is the designing of the light fitting itself. Let's discuss first about the color rating, the Kelvin rating we were talking about. This is the most important value in choosing the light. The Kelvin rating, as we told before, it is going to range between 3000 to 6000 K for the light. Most of the 3000 K are falling in yellow range, that is the warm white range, and the middle range is 4000 K. For the house situation, most of the time we tend to use the value between 3000 to 4000. I will discuss in detail how to use that. The 3000 K lights are called as the warm yellow lights, which give a cozy and inviting and a luxury appearance to the house. So they should be used in the living rooms and dining rooms and bedrooms. Then the 4000 K lights are much more natural looking lights. They somewhat match the natural sunlight color. So they are most suitable for task oriented areas like a kitchen, the dressing rooms, and the toilets, where you perform the task with high intensity, where you need more light also. Then the 6000 K lights are more bluish in nature, mostly avoided in a house unless your color scheme calls for it. Like, for example, the grays and the white, the blues more in your color scheme, let's say, the gray based color scheme. Then you can choose the white lights also. So let's say you design a particular bedroom in gray and white color scheme, then you can go for a white scheme also. We have also done that. But ideally, you stick to this 3000 and 4000 K. I will discuss in detail how what kind of fittings and how many fittings in 4000 K and how many fittings in 3000 K you should have. That comes next. The 6000 K lights, which are bluish white, I told you, which are more suitable for commercial establishments, which are commercial establishments like offices and hospitals. You can also use, as I told you before, you can use in the gray scheme if it is there in your house. Now let's discuss the major types of lights, lighting systems which are available. The lighting systems which are available and fixed into the false ceiling, especially, can be divided into four major types. The first type is the ambient light. The ambient light is what is the general light. That is the light you use most of the time. The second light is called accent light. Accent light or the spotlights which elevate, which accent, which highlight a part of the wall, a part of the floor, or an artifact on the wall. And there is a third type which is called as the cove lighting, which goes inside the cove of the false ceiling. The fourth type is called task light. Let's discuss in detail about each and every type. The first type is the diffuse light. As I told you, it is the most used light, and you will be 90% of the time you will be using that light only mostly. These diffuse lights are also called as paneled lights. These are used in 4000 K, and these lights are best used between 15 watts 24 watts. Most of the time we tend to use 18 watts and 24 watts. These lights are the neutral color, as I told you before, and they have 120-degree beam angle. That means the lights spread out. So that's why they are called diffuse lights, and they cast very soft shadow, which are very pleasing and nice. These are called diffuse lights. The next type is the accent light. The accent light is mixed with the diffuse lights in carefully selected portions, and these accent lights are also called as spotlights, also sometimes called as COB lights. These have a very sharp cone angle, about 36 degrees or 30 degrees, sometimes even lesser, 28 degrees. These are generally used in 3000K so that you get a nice mixture of yellow and the neutral white. And these accent lights are mainly used to highlight the important areas of the house, like an artifact on the wall or a nice furniture and the flooring areas, etc. They create a very beautiful contrast to the entire situation, and they also create sharp shadows which are interesting. Have you ever wondered why five-star hotels look so different and nice? That's because of these accent lights. In fact, five-star hotels tend to use almost everything accent lights. They remove the diffuse lights, so this gives a very special effect to the hotels. But mostly using complete accent lights is not a good thing to do in a house. So we keep away from using 100% accent lights, but we should use a judicious mix of accent lights and diffuse lights. The accent lights have to be generally they are 9 watts or 10 watts, sometimes even 15 watts. So we tend to use between 6 watts and 10 watts most of the time. And these have the sharp cone angle. Mostly it is 36 degrees some companies give you. And some companies can give you 30 degrees cone angle also. Whichever is shorter, it is better. And the accent lights generally tend to be 3 times brighter than the diffuse light, because diffuse light tend to diffuse the light uniformly. So accent lights are concentrating on one place. So they tend to be 3 times brighter for the same wattage. The third is cove light. Cove light is the one which is kept inside the cove, which is also called as the indirect lighting, which it's reflected in the false ceiling and gives a nice halo effect inside the house, and gives a nice floating feeling to the false ceilings. So this is the third type of light. Fourth type is the task lighting. Task lighting is used for places like the dressing rooms. You have the mirror, it requires the lighting around the mirror. Then in the bathrooms, you have the lightings which have to be much brighter. The task lights which will be used in the kitchen, mostly below the kitchen cabinets. These are called the task lights, and these are mostly in the range of 4000K. And mostly these are the strip lights which go below the cabinets. For example, below the kitchen cabinet, they create a very nice halo effect, and also they give beautiful lighting directly on top of the worktop, where you have a very important jobs like cutting and chopping involved. They give a nice light to the countertop. All these four types of lights also called layers of light. So these four layers have to be properly balanced and used in a house to create a beautiful, rich looking, luxurious light which has beautiful contrast and accentuation. And these lights can be combined in a way that they create the right mood for the kind of function which is going to be performed in the room. These four types of lights can be combined and used based upon the function you are going to perform. For example, you get visitors, it's going to be an important function, it's going to be an important celebration in your house. Then you switch on only the core light. It gives you a very dim and nice light setting which will take you to the sleeping mode. Then let's say you have a party in the house. Then you switch on only the spotlights. That gives you a nice the party effect with only spotlights here and there, and most of the walls are in dark. It gives you a nice party effect. Then when you are alert and you want to perform a task like studying or writing, or you're going to work something on your desk, then you switch on the diffused light. That gives you the perfect setting for your task oriented job. Let's discuss in real world example how we place these lights, how many lights you need, what kind of wattage, what kind of color in particular room. I'm going to assume the living room that we are designing the light for is about 250 square feet. Let's say it is about 13 feet by 19 feet approximately. As per Indian condition, we have certain standards of lighting which is required. Over a period of time, in our experience, we have also arrived at what is the lumen rating, what is the lumens that is required for a particular room. What is a lumen? Lumen is a measure of the total amount of light visible to the human eye from a light source. So, for example, let's say a 24 watts LED panel light. 24 watts LED panel light can give you approximately 1700 lumens. So now let us calculate for a living room how many lumens are required for a 250 square feet of living room. Based on our research, we found that in India, for a living room, we require 40 to 50 lumens per square feet of the living room. That means, in our example, we are assuming that it is about 250 multiplied by 50 lumens comes to 12,500 lumens. This is the overall lumen requirement for that particular room. Now, let us divide these lumens into different types of fittings so that we get this overall lumens. Now, in a living room situation, you will be having at least four kind of lights. Number one, as I said, it's a diffused light, which is going to be the major light source. Number two is the spotlights. Number three is the cove light. Number four, living room being a living room, you want to have something which is aesthetic also, the decorative lights. Mostly it is the hanging lights or some kind of a chandelier. You may have at least two chandeliers hanging from the fall ceiling. So I'm going to assume that this particular living room is going to have four diffuse light of 24 watts each. Diffuse light is about 1700 lumens. Multiplying that, you get approximately 6800 lumens. Then I'm going to place the spotlights, which are about 9 watts or 10 watts. Let's say it's 9 watts each. And I'm going to place it strategically in such a way that they are distributed evenly and nicely. And I'm going to require about 6 spotlights. Each spotlight of 9 watts is approximately 750 lumens. This multiplied by 6 will come to about 4000 lumens. And I'm going to assume that we are going to have two nice chandeliers, which are going to be approximately 2000 lumens each. So that is going to add another 4000 lumens to our list. So that comes to a total of about 14 to 15,000 lumens, which is slightly more than 12,500. That's okay because you are not going to switch on all the lights all the time. And then we have this cove light. This cove light is always extra, which is not considered in the total value because it is not going to be switched on again all the time. This cove light is going to be per length of running feet. It is approximately, I'm assuming it is 265 watts based on the Havel's light we generally use, which is 36 watts for a length of 3 meters for 10 feet. So it's 265 watts per running feet. I've calculated for this particular room after offsetting about 2 feet all around the curve in the periphery. It's going to be about 46 running feet, which is going to be approximately about 12,000 lumens, which is high, but the co-lighting which gets reflected into the false ceiling from the false ceiling and falls into the living room and spreads. So it is not going to be 100% of the light which is going to come out of the co-light. It's only going to be approximately 50%. So let us take it is going to be about 6,000 lumens going to add. We are having slightly more than what is required for. So this is the way we design the lighting lumens based on the lumens required. I hope it is useful. You can apply the same technique to your bedroom or the dining room, etc. Please, if you have any questions, you can ask in the comments. I will be happy to reply to you. Continuing another example for a bedroom. You require about approximately 40 lumens per square feet, and considering a normal bedroom, spacious bedroom about 12 feet by 16 feet is going to be approximately 192 square feet, which is multiplied by 40 is going to be around 7,700 lumens, for which you can have three numbers of 18-watt lights. Each 18-watt lights is about 1,250 lumen multiplied by three numbers. You're going to get approximately 3,750 lumens. Then you are going to have four numbers of, let us say, 10 watt LED spotlights, the COB lights, which are going to, as I told you before, which are going to add a nice mix of 3000 K lights. The diffuse lights, which I told you before, the 18 watts diffuse lights, which are 18 watts diffuse lights, which are going to be in 4000 K, and the spotlights, which are I'm talking about now, which is 10 watts, are going to be four numbers, which are going to be in 3000 K. and this is each light is about 750 lumen multiplied by 4 is going to be about 3000 lumens, and you are going to have a nice hanging light near the corner, for corner of the bedroom, next to the cot, let us say, which is a pendant hanging light, which is approximately can be 2000 lumen. So all put together, you almost come to the requirement, slightly exceed the requirement. Apart from that, you will have some the special lights behind the headboards, coming out of the beds, and most of the time we try to avoid co-lighting due to maintenance issues in the bedrooms. You can have exposed strip lights in the false ceiling that may add a little more lumens to your value. So we always tend to have slightly more than what are the lumen calculation, for the reason I told you before. This will be sufficient for your bedroom. What should be the shape of the lights? Is it going to be square or is it going to be circular? Which is preferable? In our experience, the square light for the diffused. The diffused lights tend to be the panel lights, which are thin, and they are going to be larger in size, something like 8 inches by 8 inches, which are better in square shape rather than circular shape, which go well with the contemporary the false ceiling design that we do. And the spotlights, which tend to be smaller in diameter, which are best in circular type. So you can have a mix of both shapes in most of the rooms. It's preferable. Apart from the four types of lights we were discussing before, the other major light fittings, the light types are the chandeliers. The chandelier lights, our suggestion is, don't go for the classic chandelier lights with the sparkling glass pieces, crystals, which are very difficult to maintain. Nowadays, the contemporary style deserves the contemporary kind of chandeliers, which are aesthetically very nice and easy to maintain, and many of them go very close to the false ceiling. So these kind of chandeliers you should choose. I will show you some examples of very good looking chandeliers that you can use. Next major type of the light is called the hanging light, which are also called the hanging pendant lights. The metallic finished hanging lights in golden color accents and chrome silver accents are very interesting. And there is a variety of cluster of hanging lights in different shapes and different colors, which are very beautiful. And there is a type called Scandinavian hanging lights, which are very interesting and suits the contemporary style. You can also have a huge, large hanging light above the dining table, which will become the focal point of the entire dining area. I will show you some of the best examples of hanging lights now. A disclaimer: some of the lights shown here, some people may not like them, but my suggestion is that a designer, an architect, or an interior designer knows better. So you should always give them the freedom of selection, even though you may not like it. After you use that light, after you get used to it, you will start liking it. That is the effect we've seen in most of our projects. So even if you don't like a suggestion designer or architect is giving you, please try to go with that. The track lights, which give you the flexibility of rotating the lights so that you can focus on the wall or some other subject in the floor, and you can keep changing it, you can move the lights, etc., and give you an effect of art gallery effect, which is very interesting and nice. Next major category is the staircase light. What kind of lights can be used in the staircase? Let us see one by one. The main type that we use and the very maintenance free is the light which is fixed on the side of the staircase. These are all very small spotlights of 3 watts each. They give you a nice illumination to the steps. Second category is the strip light, which is coming from below the nosing of the steps. So these are the strip lights, and this gives a very nice floating effect to the steps. But the problem is they are a little bit difficult to maintain, because if you tend to mop with the water and all that, there is a possibility of water getting into the strips. And these strip lights can be combined with automation to go automatically when you walk into the steps. That gives a very nice, interesting effect, and many people are using it like that in nowadays, using with linking with automation and also the sensor. So as soon as you come near the step, it switches on, and then it goes in a slow serial manner. So when you walk on the steps, it simulates as though it is going along with your pace of walking in the staircase. Lights can come below the handrail and give you a very nice floating effect for the handrail, and the wall is spotlights can be fixed below the shelves which are on the walls, and these shelves generally tend to have some artifacts below them and above them. They can be in 2 numbers or 3 numbers or even a single number of shelf, and these shelves cost you very less. It can be purchased in shop like home center or at home, even from Amazon. Special lights like up and down lights, which can be fixed on the facade and the elevation, look very interesting. The tree and plant focusing lights, these are about 9 watts or even 6 watt lights, which are called as spike lights also. They just from below the plant, they focus towards the plant. They give a very nice lighting effect and elevate the plants in your landscaping. Lights focusing onto the building, the elevation, the facade of the building, highlight the facade. These lights should be very carefully placed in such a way that they don't cast very ugly shadows. At the same time, they cover most of the building. And this is a trial and error method. You have to place it in different position, different direction, and see it. And when you place the lights on the facade, most of the time, what mistake people make is they do it such a way that you see the light source, whereas the light should be placed in such a way that the light source should not be seen, but the lighting only should be seen. Floodlights can be used on the terraces and in the backyards to give you security. And during the party, in terrace parties, these floodlights will be very useful. They are available in different wattages, for example 50 watts and 100 watts. They are very powerful, and we also use it as a security feature. We have a switch in your bedroom, and supposing you want to see what is happening in your backyard, supposing the backyard is visible from your balcony or bedroom, from inside the bedroom you switch on this floodlight. It gives immediate illumination. Then sudden illumination will startle any intruder who has come into your backyard. This is very useful for that. Simple sensor lights can be used in the backyards and the side setbacks to alert the intruders. When the intruders come into the range of the sensor, they switch on, and immediately they get startled and they run away. This lights, if you have not provided any wiring for this kind of lights, you can also there is also a kind of battery fitted light is available. These lights are not very expensive. The battery is also not very expensive. They tend to last about 6 months, sometimes 1 year, and these can be fixed anywhere in the around. Should you use color in the lights? This is a big question everybody is asking us. Colors, don't use the colors, and don't use too many colors. Don't use different colors in different areas. That doesn't look very nice. But what you can do is, in the living room, you can use a strip light which is in RGB category. So through the automation, you can or through the remote control, you can choose whatever color you want. For example, when you want to watch TV, you would like to switch off most of the lights, and you can have a blue glowing coming from the cove light. So this can be arranged through the RGB light, and rest of the time this RGB light can turn into a normal cove light like 4000K or 3000K, even 6000K. And the color lights can be used in certain areas like a home theater. Of course, the blue light or a pink light gives a nice effect. Otherwise, in other areas, we suggest that don't use the colors too much. When it comes to the color lights, Philips Hue range is a good example of remote controlled and automation controlled color light. And Havels also have a range now. It's called smart lights. which can also be used for giving the color lights. The sensor lights can be used in strategically in important locations, and they can be used in the dressing room. For example, in the night when you enter the dressing room without switching on the light in your bedroom, because you may not want to disturb your partner, so you get into the dressing room and this light comes on. Then you get into the toilet, you can have a sensor light which comes on, and these are all timer based, and they go switch off after 10 minutes or 20 minutes depending on the time setting. They are useful in the dressing room and the dressing room and the toilet. And these lights work based on the ambient lighting. When there is the outer light, the daylight, or when there is the general ambient light of the living room or the bedroom or any other room, these light don't switch on. They switch on only when there is a certain amount of darkness. And these lights can be used in car porches, where you want them to switch on automatically when you come near to your door or something. And then they can also be used in the living room or dining room. When you come out of the bedroom in the night, you want them to automatically switch on. And they can be near the staircases where you do not want the light to be always on, but only when the person comes near the staircase it switch on. And these are the usage of sensor lights. It can be combined with automation also. The dimmable LED lights, which are new in the market, and they are very expensive also. And not many companies have dimmable LED lights, which can be combined with automation. There is something called DALI light automation, which is a very big subject. I will get into the automation of lights later. We are planning to do another video, full video for automation. So this dimmable lights can be combined with the automation and give you a nice effect of scene controls. For example, you want to create a scene in which you press the button in your phone or the scene controller remote control. Then immediately the scene control you want is, let's say, watching TV. Then immediately all the light switches switch off, and some of the lights go into the dimming mode, and the core lighting turns into blue color. Let's discuss what are the major brands available in India. There is the German brand called Osram, which is a very big international player, and it's also available in India, very good quality. But the biggest brand is Havels, also one of my favorite brands. We have been using for many of our projects. The lighting range is very good, and also the life of the light, and there are very less failures that we have seen compared to other brands. This is a very major brand in international scene also nowadays. We are proud to have Indian company doing so well in the international scene also. Then we have Philips, Crompton, Siska, Bajaj, and you have smaller companies which have come into the picture like Luker, etc. They are all okay, but we have not tested those brands. Then, if you want special lights and some of the wall decorative lights and all that, major brands will not have. So you have to go for imported brands. Most of the imported brands have very different kind of fittings and very nice fittings. You can choose from them. Also, there are some good quality brands available in imported brands also. Now let's go into the very important section, the tips and tricks. When you choose the light, you choose the light which goes with your interior style. Let's say if your interior style is classic, then you can use the classic kind of light fitting. If your interior style is contemporary, then go for contemporary style of light fitting. This is very important because the aesthetics of your light has to tally with the decor of your interiors. And as I told before, please do not have the fluorescent tube lights anywhere inside the house. And also these tube lights are fixed mostly on the walls. And also don't have any wall pendant light, even if it is non-tube light. Don't have any wall pendant light. The wall lights always highlight the defects in the wall and they look very ugly. That is why almost all the lights should go into the false ceiling. That is the best way of doing it, and they give you the uniform spread lighting. If you don't have a false ceiling, then you can have surface mount lights which can be fixed to the concrete ceiling itself. Whenever you are using a light, you should see the light only, the lighting only, not the light source. This is very important. You can use wall washer lights which give bright illumination on the wall, which are placed close to the wall. And these walls, if they are special textured or rugged finish, then this wall washer lights give very big, very beautiful accented accented lighting on the wall. A row of three or four small number of spotlights closely placed together in special areas near the above the cot or near some of the important walls give a very nice designed effect. When you are placing the strip light into the cove, try to place them in the special enclosure, the profile aluminum profile enclosure which are available. It will be easy for you to maintain these strips. Look for aluminum body fittings and don't buy PVC body fittings. When you choose the 30-degree cone angle accented lights, uh, you can buy the tilting type also, which is slightly more expensive, but it's very useful. You can adjust the light angle so that they focus on the wall. When the accent light focuses on the wall, it's very interesting. It creates a nice halo effect on the wall. Lights coming from behind the mirrors and behind the headboards of the cards and from behind some of the important features, important panelings on the wall give a very nice floating effect to them. If you want to use colors in the light, only use color changing LED, RGB color changing LED lights in the core lights. Don't use the color lights anywhere else. You can use wall scones light on the compound wall of a driveway, uh, which is uniformly placed at a distance of, let us say, 10 feet or 15 feet away from one another. And these lights, better they are downwards focusing and downwards cones, which create a nice effect on the wall. And the downward focusing lights are easier to maintain because they are more waterproof. You can arrange the lights in such a way that they perform a nice pattern on the wall. Especially this is used in a front compound wall, or it is used in the elevation, the front elevation of the building. That gives a very nice intersecting light effect with the play of light and shadows. You can use a very different looking decorative light in your living room, corner of the living room, which looks like there is a type which is called the film type tripod light, tripod focusing light, which make a conversational piece. So when there is a party or something, people ask you what is this and what is the reason behind having such an unique piece. It becomes a conversational piece. Similarly, you have a different type of pendant light which curves into the living room area. These kind of different kind of decorative lights you can use, which will be more interesting and add a lot of liveliness to your interiors. Avoid table lamps. Nowadays, we don't use them because in Indian condition it gives a lot of problem in maintenance because of a lot of dust accumulation, etc. So far, we were discussing in detail about lighting systems and how to choose them and how to buy the correct type of light for your house and how to plan them in detail. Hope it was very useful to you, and thanks for watching. Hope you will subscribe to our channel and continuously look forward to our future updates. Thank you. Have a great day.